People, this is from Joshua, and this is interesting that he asked this because this is a topic I wanted to talk about. People often talk about making putting harder by making the basket smaller, but that would require replacing baskets. My idea is to alter the current distance between the band and the top of the cage. Just making the cage 4 to 6 inches on the pole would accomplish the goal of making putting harder and only require a drill and a drill bit. Thoughts? Whoa.
I don't know if it would require just a drill and a drill bit. Have you seen some of those baskets that have been out there for years that are just like corroded and like you're not getting that off of the drill bit? But I get the concept of it, making it more shallow, I guess. Like your sweet spot is going to be a little bit more shallow rather than shrinking. You know, I almost think you need to shrink the whole basket if you're going to shrink it. You know, the basket itself, because I mean the basket itself was made to catch, like the size of it was almost made to catch, you know, ultimate Frisbees, like actual Frisbees or 86 molds, you know, a little bit bigger in diameter. So there's a lot more room. If you think about a putter coming in, there's a lot more room for error on that. But as I always say, when we're talking about baskets and spit outs and whatnot, we throw things at things. It's never going to be perfect.
Oh, yeah.
You can perfect it, well, maybe like just decrease the spit outs if you have a better basket, you know, but at the end of the day, there's different baskets for different styles of putting too. Like the Mach X is made more for hitting it hard, because if you have a soft putt, you're going to have more tendencies to pop out, as where some of the other baskets, they're a little better on those softer putts coming in. So I don't know. It goes both ways there. I would love to see some samples, I guess, and try putting on them or that. But you're right. It is going to cost a lot of money to do that, unless it's like the Pro Tour. You know, maybe just the Pro Tour needs it for them and not for everyday courses. Because I would hate to put on these tiny little baskets on one of these like beginner-friendly style courses that I'm putting in the ground. You know, because you want it to be user-friendly, and I feel like making putting harder at that level makes no sense, but it could make sense at the professional level to make putting a little bit harder. I don't know.
I mean,
people are afraid of change too, though.
They are afraid of change, but I mean, I know that people don't like to compare the two sports, but that's like saying, you know, for the tour, the golf tour, should we make the holes smaller for them and not us, so that the amateur player can still enjoy it, or the beginner golf player can still enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
I need those foot golf holes on golf to make putts.
No kidding. So yeah, would I say yes, your solution, Joshua, would seem easier than just replacing them all, but it still would be a massive undertaking to change all these baskets.
I mean, I think there's more to it too than just shrinking it, because then you're going to have all this. The chain is just going to be kind of like hanging, like laying down in the bottom of the basket almost, right? And you'd have to almost cut links of the chain off to make the chain a little smaller too. I don't know. I can't visualize what it would look like.
So what made me want to talk about this topic is USDGC. Now, one of the big stories that seemed to be out there was the new baskets. And I'm not trying to dog on them or anything like that. I'm not down.
Yeah, he is. He told me right before we recorded that, hey, I'm going to dog on these guys.
No, I'm not, because I know they were just trying something new and something different. But it just made me think about, like, I get it. People are always going to gripe or say something about a basket, and not every basket's going to be perfect. Things are going to happen because, like you said, you're throwing something at something else. It's not always going to land quite perfect. But it made me think about, so a lot of people, another topic that comes up is like, do we need to make it harder for pros, the Pro Tour, for when they play, so that it doesn't become boring? I mean, now they're even talking about how people don't like seeing the same players all the time because they're always on video, or always the same people on video. So
sorry, they're good.
I know. So I don't know if that's really the problem. Is that, do we need to make the baskets harder to putt on? Would that solve anything?
I don't know that it would. I mean, no. Here's the thing: nobody wants to watch a bunch of players just miss putts all day long either.
No,
you know what I mean?
Boring too.
Well, it's disheartening. You don't want to watch that. You don't want to. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't really know what the answer is, but I think the tour has done a pretty good job of making more challenging holes, making the golf harder. USDGC is a great example of that, how they continue. Like every time I go there, I feel like the OB gets tighter and tighter. From my first year, I think it was, I want to say 2003 was my first USDGC, and it was wide open. You know, there was hardly any OB. Like there were people that went and played OB-free tournaments, let alone rounds. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like courses are getting more challenging in that regard, but then I mean, it's a whole animal of woods versus open. So I don't know that I really have the answers for the basket issues, we'll say, right? And I think a lot of it is these spit outs you're seeing, they're not all spit outs either. You know, there's some that are high, low, left, right. It's just because it hits chains does not mean that it should stick. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You know, now those ones that hit, turn, cut all the way through, or hit the pole and bounce back to you. Yeah, but guess what? That happens. It's just part of our game. Yeah. That's how I see it. It's just part of our game.
Yeah. And I'm saying, you know, obviously if you're the person making that putt and you know that it counts. Sure. And a lot, you know, a stroke could mean cashing or not cashing, or how much cash you get.
Or a win or a loss.
Yeah. And so I'm sure it doesn't feel good, but it does happen. The other thought I had was, you know, they said standardized baskets. You know, a lot of people want one basket, and it's like, I don't think
we're too small of a sport for the DGPT. The DGPT, they rely so much on those manufacturer dollars and sponsorship, and for them to be like, we're not going to use your basket anymore. Yeah, we're not going to give you any money anymore. No, you know what I mean? Like, no. I don't know that would work either unless they built their own basket, and then they're going to have. That's a whole nother headache they're going to have to deal with, is making sure their specs line up to every other course that's already out there, to make sure their ground sleeves, you know, and then think about how many they're going to have when traveling, because, you know, typically they're going to have 2 whole courses because of FPO and MPO, and then you're going to have a whole nother set that goes to the next town to start setting up. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just, hey, standardized baskets. Yeah.
Here's my thought too. And you mentioned, you kind of talked about it a little bit, is that, you know, a lot of people don't like certain baskets. You know, they favor different baskets, but to me, it's part of the skill for the player to know, oh, those are those baskets. Mm-hmm. Now I know I have to putt harder.
It's no different than a golf green.
Yeah, a golf green. Or I was thinking even a racetrack, like you know, race car drivers. They got to know certain tracks are certain ways. Mm-hmm. Certain baskets you got to putt certain ways, and to me, that's part of the skill.
It's part of the game. Yeah, totally. So, I agree with that.
All right. I just thought it was interesting. I didn't watch all of USDGC, but the little bit I watched, and then of course, kind of the coverage that people put out there. I know baskets was the big deal.
Yeah, there's some spit outs. I saw some spit outs, but I don't know. The thing about about Innova using that basket at that event, I don't know that I disagree with the decision, but I did find it weird that a major championship is the time to test it out.
Well, surely they tested it before, but you're thinking they should have tested it at a tournament with these top players before it was such.
Because, I mean, I most of the players, that was the first time seeing it.
Yeah.
Was on those, true. You know, during practice rounds and whatnot. A big stage. So it is a huge stage for that. But I mean, USDGC is notorious for trying new rules, and I mean that's why ratings don't count for that event. But because of the stroke and distance and those kind of things, to make the course a little more challenging. Which I don't hate that for the ratings part of it, because at that level, ratings really don't matter. Yeah. I mean, they do to a certain degree, but they really don't. They really don't.